On June 2nd, PlayStation kicked off the summer showcase season for 2026, the Christmas for gamers. This one was heavily hyped, and Sony were even having showings in Alamo draft houses, setting expectations even higher. I'm going to break down everything they showed across the hour-long presentation. Did it meet the hype? If you want to support the channel, then please leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you don't like it, then leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can be better for you. This was a pretty packed state of play, so let's get straight into it. Kicking off the evening was the game that we knew would show up beforehand. Marvel's Wolverine is looking intense and visceral. The story's setup was revealed to be a race against time to rescue kidnapped mutants from cybernetic mercenaries. There was a large gameplay segment which followed Logan infiltrating an industrial park on the search for Jean Grey and the aforementioned mutants. Wolverine switches between stealth assassinations and all-out slice and dice combat with fast dodging. I could see a skill wheel tied to L2 in the lower left corner, but we didn't get a deeper dive into the types of abilities this could contain. Jean Grey does show up later in the level and they perform dual takedowns together during the ensuing combat, but this looks scripted and there was no indication you could control her, although I did think it was cool that she was present. This game also features situational environment responses to combat, as we saw Wolverine impaling someone on a forklift. Building up his rage through successful hits and parries will allow him to activate a berserk mode as well as his healing power. Later on, when he is fighting an elite enemy, you see this in action as his battered, almost skeletal body is healed from the brink of death. There is a lot of cinematics to break up the gameplay, so I'm confident this will be an epic single player adventure. There were glimpses of a motorcycle section, which was probably the only thing I didn't think looked great. It didn't look like it controlled well. In addition to Jean Grey, we know that Mystique is in the game, and we also got the reveal of Sabretooth right at the end. Marvel's Wolverine is scheduled to release on September 15th, and you can pre-order it today. Arc System Works' brand new fighting game Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is closer than ever as it closes in on its August release date. This particular trailer revealed the Knights of Doom party. This consists of previously shown character and leader of this party, Dr. Doom, and newly announced Magneto, Green Goblin, and Carnage. The whole art style of this game is breathtaking. I love it. The new characters look the part, but the thing that stood out to me the most was the English VA, which sounded amazing, especially the maniacal Green Goblin. Marvel's Tokon Fighting Souls releases on August 6th. The thing that surprised me most was Rayman Legends Retold. This surprised me not because I didn't expect it to be there, but because it looks so much better than I expected. This stylized platformer is a complete reimagining of the Xbox 360 title. Switching between 2D and 3D planes, you control the 5 characters: Rayman, Glowbox, Barbara, Grand Minimus, and Murphy. Brand new to this title is fully voiced characters, a whole new realm of levels, 4 musical stages, and a Cave of Trials challenge mode. Rayman Legends Retold is coming on October 1st. Dave the Diver is getting a prequel about Banco the Chef. This is set in 2004, 19 years before the events of Dave the Diver. It follows Banco on his journey to become the chef, and the gameplay looks completely different to Dave the Diver. It's a visual novel mixed with a cooking sim is how I would best describe it. There was no release date on this one, but you can wishlist Banco the Chef now. Kemuri is a 3D action game with paranormal abilities. Alone or with up to 3-player co-op, you'll be hunting yokai as one of the 3 confirmed classes: Katana, Bow, or Shaman. Defeating yokai gives you unique powers in combat and traversal to get further into the game. The developers are calling this Possession Apparel, which I quite like. They did show a lot of gameplay, and from a traversal standpoint it looks great. The map seems to be pretty open, with you able to scale up the side of any building. From a combat perspective, it sounds something similar to an Elden Ring Night Rain, where you team up to defeat bosses and get more powerful for it. I'm unsure if the roguelike elements are here though, as there was no mention of it. Kemuri is coming in 2027. We got a further look at the gorgeous remake that is Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. This reimagining of the original Tomb Raider game is really impressive from a graphical standpoint. I do think they played it a little coy with the gameplay though, with no extended segments to see how it performs. You can expect it to be jam-packed with dungeon puzzles, dual-wielding pistols, and dinosaurs. This one got a release date, and this confirmed it has officially been delayed out of 2026, as Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis drops on February February 17th, 2027. I nearly jumped out of my seat at the next announcement as I thought it was that survival horror Jurassic Park game we were shown a couple of years ago. It's not that though, but it is indeed another survival horror looking game with dinosaurs. The Lost World is being developed by Great Ape Games and published by Annapurna. On the PlayStation blog, the game's director outlines why this game will feel different. From the outset, our goal has been to create a world where dinosaurs are not framed as monsters, but as believable animals. They exist within the world with their own instincts, behaviors, and drives. This shift in perspective fundamentally changes the player's role. You are not the dominant force, the hero, or the conqueror. You are the outsider, vulnerable and exposed, trying to navigate a food chain where you no longer sit at the top. This game looked super high fidelity, which is just what you want for a first-person survival horror. The dinosaurs looked really good. The Lost World is dropping sometime in 2027. Phantom Blade Zero appeared again with the baby and some other bosses which we have seen before, but this was all just a tease to say they will be coming back later in the summer. They also confirmed after the show that the game has now been delayed until October. The open world survival RPG Dune Awakening is coming to console on September 22nd and will feature a brand new single player mode. Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered includes a protagonist from Dynasty Warriors Origins when it releases on October 1st. And then finally, No Rest for the Wicked, which is a top-down action RPG from Moon Studios, is finally getting its 1.0 release. With this, they will be expanding the world and class progression system. This will feature new weapons, new bosses, new areas, and a plethora of endgame content. The developers claim there'll be over 100 hours of content. It will also support cross-play and cross-save, which is a modern feature that is becoming more and more essential by the minute. I've been waiting for this brutal Souls-like to come out of early access for ages, and we're finally there as No Rest for the Wicked 1.0 drops in October. Capcom are having an absolute blazer this year with Resident Evil Requiem, Monster Hunter Stories 3 and Pragmata all being massive hits. They do have one more release this year though, and that is Onimusha Way of the Sword. They showcased some really gruesome looking characters that are definitely going to unsettle you. I think it looks like a competent action game with lots of focus on the sword combat, but I'm unsure what it is doing differently or better than others in the genre. Capcom does deserve attention though, because their output quality is seriously unmatched at the moment. I can put my uncertainties to rest right away though, because with this trailer came the demo launch, which is available right now. I know what I'll be doing this evening. Onimusha Way of the Sword also got a September release, as it is releasing September 25th. The game series that has had such a positive revival is Silent Hill, and their next title got another showing here. Silent Hill Townfall displayed a creepy story trailer that followed main character Simon and new character Zoe. We got glimpses of this gorgeous world set on a Scottish isle shrouded in red fog and all the horrifying monsters it contains, as well as a pretty awesome looking puzzle door. Interestingly, the developers have stated that all the puzzles will be narrative driven as opposed to something we'd see in a Resident Evil. Every puzzle will tell a story and have a deeper meaning or revelation. Silent Hill Townfall will have combat as shown in the previous trailer, but sometimes sneaking is best. The CRTV that Simon carries will help with that aspect. Silent Hill Townfall is another September release, as it comes on September 24th with pre-orders open now. Bandai Namco's aerial combat sim Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief is looking better than ever and releases on October 2nd. If you pre-order, you will also receive Ace Combat Zero the Belcom War port for current generation systems. I think the most out of the blue reveal was Saber with Stuntman Hollywood. This is part arcade racer, part filmmaking. You'll be performing the vehicular stunts on set for major licensed franchises like Fast and Furious, Back to the Future, Knight Rider, Miami Vice, and Death Race. The developers confirmed you'll be in vehicles such as cars, SUVs, motorcycles, a school bus, and all the iconic vehicles from the franchises I just mentioned. As the game will constantly be moving from scene to scene, the gameplay is going to feel really fresh. This is a truly interesting concept, and I definitely want to check it out when Stuntman Hollywood releases sometime in the future. Wish lists are open now. The hyper-realistic horror game Ill showed up, and it continues to look absolutely horrific. The change in perception that this trailer gave me is that there seems to be a fair range of weapons. This implies far more fighting than I had previously assumed, which may make it more action horror than survival horror. But my word, do they not hold back with all the grisly gore and sickening mutated fleshy monsters. Ill is screaming onto our screens sometime in 2027. One of my most anticipated games due to how much I love developers Remedy is Control Resonant. This trailer showed us more of the twisted psychedelic Manhattan that has been overrun by the Hiss. Of course, in this game we play as Dylan, the brother of Jesse from the first game. He wields a shifting melee weapon called Aberrant, which moves it on from the gunplay that came before it. Jessie is not absent from this game though, and her dialogue opened the trailer, as well as herself appearing beside Dylan in one of the later scenes. Remedy have said that their story is always shared, so just like how Dylan shaped Jesse's story in the first game, she will now shape his journey in this one. I'm so excited for this because I love the universe they have created, and I'm so interested to see how this game will feel mechanically with the melee combat. Control Resonant is another September release, as it is releasing on September 24th. Marathon had a trailer for its Season 2 update Nightfall, which is active now. RuneScape, which is a game I spent countless hours in during my childhood, is hitting consoles with a brand new title called RuneScape Dragon Wilds. You can play this solo or with friends, and it's set in the RuneScape universe. This one drops in fall 2026 and is day one on PS Plus. The PlayStation's Classics catalog is getting updates with Guitar Man in June, Psyops, The Mindgate Conspiracy in July, and Onimusha Dawn of Dreams in August. Firesprite revealed Until Dawn 2 next. This follows a group of ghost hunters who fake their best content for views. In a new filming deal, they travel to an abandoned tropical island which looks a little bit like a paradise. As you expect, things take a turn and the group end up being hunted. Your choices really matter here, as the developers confirm that every single person can live and every single one can die. I love a narrative game with different outcomes, so I'll be keeping my eye out for this one when it drops sometime in 2027. And lastly was the massive showcase closer, the big reveal of Sony Santa Monica's brand new God of War title. For the first time, this one does not follow Kratos, but instead follows the Great Warrior and his wife, Faye. The trailer, and seemingly the game, start with Kratos and Atreus giving her the burning burial. This sets up the game as it is centered around Faye as she journeys through the Everywhen, the afterlife of the gods. The foes she encounters are from across multiple different mythologies, meaning this game isn't picking and choosing. The two gods we see having conflict with Faye are Sekhmet of Egyptian mythology and Begsay of Tibetan Buddhist mythology. The combat looks very God of War, except with a lot of aerial combos. Faye wields a sword in her right hand and magic in her left hand. We saw fast-paced character action swordplay with parries and dodges. The end boss fight was a mixture of cinematics and real-time combat, something reminiscent of Final Fantasy, but also the boss's moveset looked awesome. Narratively, Faye tries to escape this afterlife and get back to Kratos and Atreus. She meets a talking jelly cube and some sword ribbons named Frank and Rue respectively. It seems like this will be your party, as the fight that ensues has Frank and Faye teaming up. Faye is reprised in body and voice by Deborah Ann Woll, Frank is played by Jack Quaid, and Rue is played by Polina Lau. God of War Laufay is the AAA action blockbuster many will be hoping for, and I can't wait to play it myself. Sadly, there is no release window announced, but given we saw 20 minutes of gameplay from the start screen, I don't expect this one to be later than next year. That's it. That's everything that was shown at the State of Play. What did you think of all the announcements made? Let me know in the comments below. I'll tell you what though, September is absolutely stacked right now. We had Wolverine, Control Resonant, Onimusha, Dune Awakening, and Silent Hill Townfall in this showcase alone. This is just the start of the showcase season. There are still major events from Jeff on Friday and Xbox on Sunday. I expect Nintendo to have one sometime next week as well. I will be doing breakdown videos for all of these, so keep it here on my channel to see more. If you want other gaming content, then check my recent reviews of Pragmata and Mixtape, or spy my June game release calendar. Remember to let me know what you're looking forward to in the comments below, and for everything else casual gamer, keep it here. Peace and love.